So on November 5th, our church will be 56 years old. You know, things were a lot different in 1961. LaGrange Road was 2 lanes. I was in 8th grade. I never even knew a place existed called Orland Park. And this year we'll celebrate 20 years of an incredible relationship with Heartland, which I'm sure will continue for a long time. I was going through some pictures of our 20 years there, getting a little sentimental. I was one of Quentin in a high chair with food all over his face, and that was back in the days when he actually liked me. And then I actually came across the picture which is on the bulletin cover this morning. I mean, it's one of the more ordinary pictures. It's just a little hunk of Heartland's front porch with the American flag. It's a pretty ordinary picture, and so I was thinking of some of the ordinary things that I've done, like yesterday and this morning before church, just in a day and a half. And maybe as I mention my ordinary things, maybe you can think of some of the ordinary things you've done. I got up this morning in a safe place. I peeked into the bedroom to see my son, who was safe. I walked the dog and made a pot of coffee. Yesterday, I went to my grandson's soccer game. I shared in the wedding, paid a few bills, went to the dollar store, and immediately ran to somebody who gave me a big hug and said, "Sorry, I haven't been to church in 8 months." And I said, "Well, you're not alone." And I got back to church, and I looked at the bulletin cover again, saw the flag. And I thought of America. And America is a country, but really America is more than a country. It's a way of life. America is a place that calls us to dream and to work and to open our arms to the very best of the human spirit. I look at the flag, it's all over the place. It's a piece of cloth. It hangs and waves in all kinds of different places. And yet I realize that flag allows me to plug in the coffee. It gives me the freedom to raise a child. It gives me the freedom to come to church and do a wedding. The flag allows me to take a walk, to shop at Trader Joe's, to go to the dollar store, to share dumb stories that make no sense and still have a job the next day. You know, there's been a lot of talk recently about the flag and patriotism in America. I called my brother in Virginia, and he said, "Don, how's the sermon coming? Don, I hope you're not going to talk politics. You'll make nobody happy." I said, "Jim, I'm not that stupid." But I was thinking, whoever we are, and wherever we are, and whenever we are, the best way to honor and respect the flag is to do our best to live each day in the spirit of that flag. That is the ultimate mark of patriotism and loyalty, to take the flag and wrap it around our heart and try to exude that spirit in the way that we handle ordinary people in ordinary moments. And so Heartland out there, honor the flag by taking care of those fragile kids. To each one of us, never take our ordinary moments for granted. We need to open our hearts to those who can't take care of themselves or stand up for themselves. And we also need to stand firm in what is right and what is just. We need to do more loving, maybe a little less judging. Do a little more giving and a little less taking. But most of all, we can never forget and always remember those who have given so much, their lives, their family, their time, so that we have the freedom to walk and live every single day. We can never, ever forget. Jose is here today. I was talking about you behind your back at the early service. And Jose comes into my office the other day, and actually last Sunday when Merle was here and Jose was not, Jose had gone a week and had not heard from his brother in Puerto Rico. And Jose comes into my office the other day, and lots of tears were shed. And my gosh, Jose's a pilot, and he can't even fly to Puerto Rico to help his brother and be there. And the tears kind of flow as I hand Jose a check for $1,000 that you wanted him to have to at least make some little dent in his brother's journey. He was telling me how his brother's a salesman and he sells stuff to restaurants in Puerto Rico. The restaurants are gone. And his sister-in-law is a teacher at a school, and the school is gone. And so people like them, they have no job and they have no money, no electricity. A little bit of that's coming back. And here you are, miles away, and you can't go there and help. It's like somebody said to me, Don, the devastation is so great, there's really not much we can do. Well, there's something we can't do. We can never do nothing. Got to do something. Maybe a prayer, light a candle, $5, $1,000, just caring. We can never, ever not do anything. And so I walk into the sanctuary on Thursday night, and Nilsa is here praying. And she's crying, and she and her husband and her niece come every Thursday night to worship. I never knew that Nilsa's from Puerto Rico. That's where her family is. And she said, Don, they have nothing. Everything is gone. And here I am, and I can't get there to help. I didn't really know what to say, except to care and to pray and to hold her hand. And so I took her into my office, and I get out the checkbook, and it says Men's Club on the top. So I call Alan, the president, and I said, Alan, I'm writing a check out to Nilsa for $500. All in favor say aye, and Alan says aye. All opposed, nay. Motion carries. Here's $500. That's why it's fun to be your pastor. Because on your behalf, you can do something. It's just a dent. But it's something to somehow let people know that we are one, and we are in this together. Remember last Sunday I gave away my storybook, and I told the kids when I gave it away, I said, when you find one of those books somewhere and you go back to your seat, open the cover, you may find something, and inside the cover was a dollar bill. And after church, as I'm greeting people, one of the kids comes out to me, and she says, Pastor Don, here's the dollar you gave me. Do you think it can help the people in Puerto Rico? And I gave her a big hug, and I said, that dollar bill is going to help more than you ever know. I mean, millions of dollars in damage, an island almost gone, a child's smile, and a dollar bill. And it all spells hope, because people do care. I'm not sure how old I was, but I so much, when I was younger, wanted to know how much my dad made for a living. And my kids have no problem because my salary's on page 14 of the annual report, so it's no big deal. But my dad would pay bills on Saturday night at 6:30 watching Perry Mason in black and white. And so one night I sit at the card table and said, Dad, finally, just between you and me, father, son, how much money do you make? And he looks at me and smiles, and he says, enough. Is $1,000 enough? Is $500 enough? Is $1 enough? Our flag reminds me, and life reminds me, and Jesus reminds me. When we live in the spirit of a not-so-ordinary flag and a not-so-ordinary humble carpenter, we may not think it's a lot, but in God's eyes, it's always enough. Amen. If you're able to, please rise for the creed. It's on page 105.